Let's do a quick comparison of two community building platforms that are really popular right now. So I have Eduflow, and then I have Teachfloor. So which one should you actually choose this year if you had to actually make a decision between those two? So let me first give you an overview between Eduflow and Teachfloor. So let's first start with Eduflow. So if you think about Eduflow, you have a very intuitive and easy to use let's say easy to figure out interface. So in terms of UX and UI, fantastic job. Okay, the developers at Eduflow have done a great job, and you have also accessibility across international settings. So if your community actually has a global orientation, you will love Eduflow. You have a high level of content that creators support. You have good integration capabilities, and you have effective peer review functionality. So on Eduflow, you have peers that who can really review your work and actually give constructive feedback. On the flip side, it's actually when it comes to Eduflow, the analytics are not really solid. Okay, you still have to jump through a few hoops to actually understand the analytics. The granularity is not where it should be, and also it's actually hard through Eduflow to brand your course, to brand your community. Okay, so it's not really easy, and also you have a high price per user. What about Teachfloor? So Teachfloor, if you think about Teachfloor, I want you to think about a platform that allows you to create engaging courses. Okay, and so you have a user-friendly and intuitive interface. So also the UX and UI are fantastic. They're kind of similar to what you have with Eduflow. Okay, you have a solid and reliable customer support team. You have onboarding with real course templates. So you have a variety of up to 100 course templates on the platform that you can use actually, and you have interactive engagement and collaboration tools also. So that's pretty good. On the flip side, you have limited reporting capabilities, technical issues under heavy load, and you are unable actually to personalize emails. On top of that, you have limited interactive content types. So something to really keep in mind if your job is to really create a bespoke learning experience for your members. So now let's talk about the key features. If you think about Eduflow versus Teachfloor, it's important to understand that the key features will drive your decision depending on the niche you're in and depending on the type of business model that you are running, right? So let's first talk about custom design and design themes. So basically, Eduflow offers high level opportunities, and the cool thing also is that so does Teachfloor. So both platforms allow you to add a fav icon and logo, as well as charge the primary colors, okay, color scheme or the interface. However, Eduflow goes the extra mile by enabling you to further personalize the theme, including selecting your preferred font and adjusting the border radius. So that's really good. So here, when it comes to custom design and design themes, basically Eduflow wins a little bit by slight margin, but it still wins. What about drip schedule content? So both Eduflow and Teachfloor have the ability to set prerequisite activities that learners must complete to unlock the next task, schedule the date and time when this task will become available to students, and set a deadline for its completion actually. What about peer review? So here you have a tie actually, okay, a tie. What about peer review? Same thing. Even though Eduflow still wins a little bit. Let me explain. So both platforms offer the capability for peer reviews for cohort courses, and so you can specify the number of reviews required, set start and end times for the review process, include instructions, and outline necessary criteria before commencing the activity. However, Eduflow gives you a little advantage in the sense that you have access to pre-designed workflows for various types of reviews, including peer reviews. Okay, so this is why Eduflow wins a little bit because it is a valuable feature that can save you time and effort in creating this component of your course actually. So let's talk about mobile app. So basically, Eduflow wins here again, okay? Because while the application is not without its flaws, it does provide the ability to create and manage online courses from a mobile device. You don't have that ability actually through Teachfloor, okay? What about certificates? So basically, you have uh, you have a tie because those two platforms do have certificates. So that's kind of cool because the certificate feature holds great importance for the course management system. Because if you think about it, it offers learners, students, and other key stakeholders tangible recognition for their achievements, serving as a motivation for ongoing engagement and validation of their acquired knowledge and skills. Okay, so both Eduflow and Teachfloor do offer that feature, that module, really. So that's good. What about interactive content? Okay, so one thing I want to say here is that basically here Eduflow does win a little bit by a slight margin, because although both tools possess versatile interactive content capabilities, Eduflow does boast a more comprehensive area of, let's say, engagement tools as a curriculum builder. So you have that possibility at the end of the day. And so when I say engagement tools, those include polls, self reviews, group formation, scoring, certificates, and checklists. Okay, all of which contribute significantly to creating more engaging learning experiences for your students and other key stakeholders. So overall, a fantastic sort of setup, and it doesn't matter the niche you're in. It doesn't matter your geographic orientation, whether you're serving an audience in the states here or you're focusing on a global audience. The ability to have polls and other engagement tools is really fantastic. What about the automated reports? So if you think about Eduflow versus Teachfloor, you have to really understand that basically it's all about what's important for you. I would say here we have a tie. Okay, both Eduflow and Teachfloor gives you a lot of ways to evaluate student performance, but also measure the effectiveness of live classes and instructors. Okay, so that as an online course as an online course provider, as an educator, you can glean insights into student performance and monitor learning progress, but also evaluate course effectiveness, facilitating actually data-driven enhancements to elevate the overall educational experience. So that's really good. So here we have a tie. The thing about integrations is that basically, if you are thinking about integrations from a long-term perspective, you will realize that both platforms are actually different. Because if you think about Teachfloor, for instance, you have a platform that offers two ready-made integrations. You have Zoom and Stripe, alongside access to over 4,000 integrations via Zapier. On the other hand, Eduflow already boasts 27 ready-made native integrations and a substantial selection of integrations available through Zapier. So you can see here that basically it's a different business model, but Eduflow has a slight edge actually. Okay, so one thing you need to really understand here is that Eduflow is actually overall the best platform for increasing learner engagement, especially if you are thinking about engagement from a long-term perspective. Because on Eduflow, you have polls, you have self-reviews, you have group formation, you have scoring, you have certificates, you have checklists. And if you think about that, all those engagement tools are essential for actively engaging learners in the educational process, okay? And also in increasing the course completion rate, which is something that you need to really think about if you want to scale your business model over time, okay? And also, one thing you need to really understand here is that Eduflow, but also Teachfloor, do a great job in terms of making your course appear more professional, but in different ways. For instance, the professional experience of a course creation tool is actually on Eduflow is significantly enhanced by the flexibility to customize the interface, integration capabilities, opportunities to create a course landing page, but also the availability of a diverse interactive content tool, right? On Teachfloor, you have some customization options too. So you can, for instance, have a bespoke logo and favor icon. You can change the main color. Okay, something to really think about. So what about pricing? If you think about Eduflow versus Teachfloor, and we're comparing and contrasting those two platforms, let's think about pricing here. So basically, Eduflow pricing model is as you can see on the screen. You have five types of tiers with Eduflow. You have the free tiers, and the free tier all the way to the pro tier. Now the pro tier is actually cool if you have an established learning business model already, because the pro tier will cost you 649 bucks per month. That's actually the price as of the date of this show, but you have lots of flexibility, especially when it comes to file storage, because you are looking at 3 terabyte. Okay, 3 terabytes. And one thing you need to really also understand here is that any additional users incur an additional cost ranging from $1 to $3, depending on your chosen plan. As you can see, basically, you have the monthly active users. Okay, so and they go from 10 on the free plan all the way to 500 on the pro plan. So anything above that, you have to pay $1 to $3 extra every single month. And so that's really the transparency that you have with Eduflow. But I do love the fact that Teachfloor has a different approach, has a simpler approach, has a very efficient approach, because they charge you only for the number of active administrators and course leaders, not for the users, not for the students. And notably, the number of students remains unlimited across all of their pricing plans. As you can see on the screen here, with when it comes to Teachfloor, you have pricing that starts at 89 bucks per month. So 89 bucks per month. That's pretty good, because you have the possibility to actually scale, and also you have the possibility to add more branding, more optimization, more I would say more context to your online course. So if you think about Eduflow versus Teachfloor, especially when it comes to pricing, you have to really understand that everything depends on what kind of niche you're in, what kind of business model you have, whether you are, let's say, a small organization, or you have a large corporate internal a corporate program, for instance. Okay, so basically, one thing I want to say here is that what I love about Eduflow is that it gives you 5 tiers of pricing. But what I don't like is the fact that they're charging you $1 to $3 extra once you go above the number of students that you have in your tier, right? Because this can really make your numbers add up real fast, especially if you can't charge the students more. I mean, you are onboarding extra students, but you're not able to charge them more, which means your fixed cost is actually increasing, but your revenue actually is not increasing by that much. Okay, but again, one thing you need to understand here is that basically you have the flexibility, but if you have a small learning organization, it's just better to go with Teachfloor, because Teachfloor, as you saw a little earlier, is just charging you a little bit, like they're charging you a basic, like a minimum amount, $89. That's the starting price, but at least you don't have to pay for the number of students. You're paying for the number of administrators. You're paying for the course coordinators, but not the students. Okay, so you can have 1,000 students, and if you still have the same number of administrators, you're fine. Okay, which is really good, because it just means that you can actually scale. You don't have to really the more students you on board, you don't have to pay extra. Okay, so that's something to really think about. But one thing you need to really understand here is that basically, when it comes to Eduflow versus Teachfloor, Eduflow is kind of cool in the sense that it gives you a pricing stratification model. But I don't like the fact that they are restricting the number of storage, like the file storage that you have per tier, per pricing tier. Because on Teachfloor, it's actually unlimited, actually, okay? Unlimited. And that's kind of cool to really think about, okay? And, but if besides file storage and all the other restrictions that Eduflow has, if you want to really have more flexibility on your course, go with Eduflow. Because Teachfloor doesn't have, for instance, like on Teachfloor, you cannot adjust group sizes. The course library feature doesn't exist. There's no API, custom subdomain, subsetting, messaging controls, brand-free certificates, course logs, SSO, and priority support. So something to really think about from a flexibility point of view. So in conclusion, if you think about Eduflow versus Teachfloor, you got to really understand that this is everything depends on which one should you choose. That decision, that question, if you have to answer that question, it really has to do with what your goals are. Okay, because the primary distinction between Eduflow and Teachfloor is that Eduflow will be an excellent option for medium and large businesses requiring corporate training, for instance, higher education institutions like colleges and universities, but also specialized academies that really focus on collaborative and cohort based learning. Okay, so that's something you need to really pay attention. So if your organization is any of those, Eduflow will be good for you because with Eduflow, it will be easy to increase learning engagement, save time and streamline operations, bring the offline learning experience online, and appear more professional for your students. But they're charging you, don't forget, Eduflow is charging you by the number of students, okay? Which can be a little tricky. So you have to really pay attention to that part of the equation. Now, go for Eduflow if you are in the categories I just listed. But on the other hand, choose a Teachfloor if you, let's say, you are a mid-sized academy or you are, let's say, even an instructional designer aiming to develop both cohort-based and self-paced courses. So that's the cool thing. On Teachfloor, you have you have the flexibility to choose between self-paced courses and cohort-based courses. And Teachfloor also offers you features to address challenges such as focus on content, rapid time to market, and centralized education. So this is something to really think about, especially from a flexibility point of view. And if pricing is a concern for you, definitely go with Teachfloor because you saw a little earlier when I told you like the pricing is just better for. But either way, you want to try you want to try either platform first. Whether you choose Eduflow or Teachfloor, go with the free trial, go with the free tier, go with a free demo. Like try the product first for maybe 30 days or even more, even longer, and see how you like the features that every either tool has to offer. So as a recap into this conversation, I spoke to you about Eduflow versus Teachfloor. I gave you the overview of those two platforms, and I compared the key features, like from custom design all the way to integrations. But I also paid attention to the pricing. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.